Hey guys, and welcome back to the Real Estate Marketing Show. Hope you're having a great day. This is episode number 37. We have Julie back in the studio. She missed the last one. How are you today?
I'm so good. You know I love these. I'm so glad to be back.
I'm looking at your microphone. Going, what happened to that thing?
There's just nothing we can do on that. Today's been a little hashtag technical difficulty.
Yeah,
but
we've
we're
had all
doing good.
kinds of fun stuff today. So anyways, guys, I wanted to point out a couple things. The last several episodes have been about what we need to do as real estate agents to survive in this market and how to handle it correctly. The next three, including this one, are going to be about the same exact thing. So these go in a group. There's going to be 6 in a group that are all kind of based around the same thing. So make sure you see all those.
And we've got them in a couple groups.
Yeah, we have them posted. Facebook group is the Real Estate Marketing Show page, and we're posting them in the Lab Coat Agents, and we're posting them in Club Wealth Facebook group. And who cares? Just subscribe. That's all you need to know. If you're watching this on the website or through social media, make sure you subscribe so you can go back and see all these. So, all right. So if you're listening to this, it is almost it's kind of the first week of December in 2017, and every year we talk about goal setting for 2018 and what's going on. And we've been on stage and doing a lot of cool stuff lately about our thoughts and goal planning for 2018. So Julie recommended that we do this podcast so thousands and thousands of people can hear it and not just a couple hundred that we've been talking to lately. So take it away, Julie.
Well, because so many of the events that we went to, we got a chance to go to Vegas.
Yep.
We got a chance to go to Anaheim. And
Yep,
then you
for
got a
BSM.
chance to be in Laguna.
Yeah, we're at the Ritz down in Laguna for the closing table mastermind group.
And that one was pretty interesting to see from a Facebook perspective, not getting to be there.
Yeah, it's basically what we're doing is doing a lot of networking, a lot of masterminding, and really trying to dial this in. Brokers and team leaders, we need to stick together in this industry and really focus on how to beat our competition and stay ahead of the game and do as much business as we want or as little as we want. And so there's a bunch of rules and
There were so many aha moments that came from
yep,
all of them and that you had to share them with the agents.
exactly.
There's
exactly.
so much that I think maybe doesn't necessarily get said agent to agent, broker to agent. I mean, we talk about it in our trainings.
Right.
And then the last two, this last week at all of our smart sessions, we had a really great roundtable talking about everything. So yeah, we had to podcast this.
Exactly. So what I'm going to recommend is you guys take some notes because there's going to be probably 5 or 6 key elements that I think going into the new year are going to be extremely important. And some things to just think about. You know, our mantra is us as brokers, we do things that other brokers can't or won't, and us as agents, we do things that other agents can't or won't. And it's really important. So sometimes you're not going to get the love that you need being around who you're around. So we want to make sure we bring the best of the best to you. So let's stop babbling and get into this. Where do you want to start this?
Okay, so what was your biggest takeaway from when we were in, let's do Vegas first, because that was a Commissions Inc. platform.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so, but not only did they kind of train on just the platform, but they trained on calls.
Yeah,
follow-up.
basically the theory
social
of
media.
online leads, right?
Right.
My biggest takeaway from that was, first of all, it makes buying online leads, whether it's Google AdWords or social media, it's kind of the normal now. Before we were different. We were like some of the only agents, top of the thing, you know, buying leads, spending tons of money. But now it's like everybody's doing it.
Even a new agent.
Yeah, new agents even.
We
So
saw a
it's
lot of
it's
that.
not a thing that's, you know, just for the top producers anymore, and that's kind of how it used to be because of the budget. One thing I wanted to point out, there are, you know, and when we were talking the other day, I said, raise your hand if you've gotten 10 online leads in the last 30 days. Interestingly enough, the only people that raised their hands were people that were purchasing leads.
Your team.
My team, yeah. It was kind of funny. And then I said, well, if we know over 95% of all people that purchase homes start on the internet and typically end on the internet, why aren't we as agents getting all the leads? And if you stop and think about that, you go, man, so it led me to believe that websites are dead for are individual websites for agents, right? All they are is a business card.
That was what I was going to make you say, because when you say dead, you still have to have one.
Yeah.
You still have to have a business card.
It's exactly.
It's still paper, and people
back
wanted
in
to
the
go
day,
paperless.
you had to be in the white pages and the yellow pages to be found.
Right.
Now you have to be on Google to be found, and you have to have a website to be found. But we're really not using our websites as lead generating machines anymore, unless you're paying to play.
So do you still have to have like search engine optimization?
I don't believe so. I feel that if that was important, we'd be talking a lot about it in in our big groups across the country.
Is that just the norm now? Do people just automatically think when they have a website they have search engine optimization?
No, I think anybody who knows SEO knows that you got to spend a heck of a lot of time and money and effort to get yourself at the top of these search engines. But the big websites like the Zillows and Trulias and Realtor.com, they dominate the positions. Not very many people are going to scroll down to page 3 to find a real estate agent's website to play on. The bottom line is the big players in the industry have spent the money and built these websites that why would somebody want to be on my website as a little real estate agent when they could search something so powerful? So with that being said, I think they're dead as far as lead gen. Unless you're paying and you have special landing pages on that. But I don't think SEO has anything to do with it.
Okay.
And I mentioned where we live is Santa Clarita, California, and 25 years ago I bought the domain SantaClaritaRealEstate.com. At one time it was valued at $500,000, and I should have sold it back then when Bing was looking around. And now if you put it in the whatever the value my domain name, it's worth about $1,500. And I think that says a lot because people don't really care anymore. If you look at some of the website domain names that we have, search LA County Homes, search Santa Clarita Homes around you, all these weird domains that they're okay, but nothing like what we really have. And it doesn't matter. They just have to say something. So if somebody's looking at the bar or the domain or URL, it actually says something that makes sense, not that you're searching in China.
Well, and I felt like that was something that even came up at the NARREP event that we went to that you spoke at, where you were sitting. It was kind of a top producer panel, and you guys were going back and forth about what URL you own versus what the other broker owned. Mm-hmm. And they're so similar that it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. They're not valuable anymore, and it takes a lot of time, effort, and money to get your SEO dialed in. And if we're going to spend that time and money, when they land on the web page, they're only going to spend a couple minutes there anyways and disappear because it's not nearly fun or as interactive as, say, a Zillow or Realtor.com. So it doesn't matter. So we have to pay. We have to build special landing pages that are actually going to be through AdWords or social media for them to want to click on it and play.
Well, and technology has just gone so quickly, too. I mean, as soon as we start talking about more interactive, that makes me think of what you found out about in Laguna, like messenger bots and talk about that, because that one freaked me out. That's the one that I was like, wait, what?
Well, so let's back it up a little bit in our goal for 2017, which I think is going to be more relevant in 2018 than even 17. Not that we didn't do it in 17, but if you're listening to this in a spot where you can write this down, I really encourage you guys to automate, delegate, or eliminate. It's a big conversation we had for a long time, and we're trying to talk about automating, right? So automating would be let's have these really cool landing pages, but let's automate the responses, and that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And if you follow us around on Lab Code Agents, we've been talking a lot lately about being authentic and how important authenticity is with your automation, because let's face it, we have to talk to or touch thousands of people a month now, or it used to be 2 or 3 to get a client. So now if you're going to respond, which you have to in 30 seconds these days, you have to figure out exactly how are you going to automate this process of talking to thousands of people. And this is also part of delegating. We delegate this to our team. But the thing that got you all excited, Travis Tom, who's going to be on our next podcast, I believe, or the one after that, he's going to talk about some of these bots and authenticity where they're communicating with the online leads. They think it's an actual person, but they're talking to a bot. And you could program an entire conversation like, hey, did you get the free download I offered you? And this might be a Facebook ad. And it'll say, yes, thank you very much. Oh, are you planning to move in the near future? Maybe. Oh, fantastic. And you can just program the conversations based on their answers, which is unbelievable.
Incredible.
Yeah. And if it starts to go sideways, it'll say, oh, walking into an appointment, I'll call you when I'm done. And then it'll notify you as the agent, well, I don't know what to do with this. You better get on and go.
And that's been something that just continues to come up when we talk to other brokers and when we go into my favorite rooms where it's just all of you guys masterminding. And we were in some of the tier 4, everybody was saying, what's your secret sauce when you maybe are going out to get a client or going out recruiting, going out for agents? And it is that private messenger. For me, that's been my secret. It's been, being authentic in going out in a private message, taking them off Facebook or taking them into what's basically a text message and just communicating with them saying, no, I saw that you got this listing, or that's so awesome. Look at what's happening in your business. Come over here and make sure you're at our trainings, go to our podcast, find out all of this information. And so the fact that now we're being able to automate that's huge.
Exactly. And that just completely reminded me of some of the older podcasts we did when the thing that sticks in my mind the most is birthdays through Facebook, right? Remember back in the day, that was all the rage. And then we do something goofy, put it on the wall so everybody could see us, all their friends can see us. And I said, no, you guys have to be way more authentic, right? You have to private message them. You can still do the video. You can still take pictures and do silly, funny stuff to stand out. But this is more authentic. People say, oh, you know what? They're not trying to use my friends as business. They really care about me.
Yeah.
And, that was nice, Mike. That was a really cool video. Now I'm just FaceTiming everybody. Screw it.
You have to.
I just FaceTime them. I did it to Wendy Forsyth yesterday at HomeSmart on her birthday, and she answered the phone, and I sung happy birthday to her, and I thought that was way better than a Facebook message. So we're always trying to evolve, and that's not exactly automating the process, but as far as authenticity goes, I think that's really important. So back to the automate, delegate, eliminate thing. So we're automating a lot of this, right? We have agentology, which is like the last podcast we did. If you guys want to hear some serious automation, serious delegation, you must listen to that with David Tall. Unbelievable podcast, one of my very favorites. And then the other one with Jesse Zagorski, as far as delegating, we're delegating a lot of this to our team. Right, our team we need to have 10, 12 agents sometimes if we're producing, 400 or 500 leads a month, which we're doing right now. And then of that, what is the eliminating process? Well, what can we do? We can eliminate a lot of expenditure on our normal website. You could almost just have a landing page with your name and phone number.
Yeah, you genuinely
contact me for this. There's a bunch of other things I think we can eliminate because some of these systems have built-in text features, built-in chat features, and those were a lot of bolt-on things that we used to use that we don't anymore. There's only a few that really stick out in our industry now, and of course that's Jesse and Call Action, Agent Legend, Riley. Those are some of the things that we still have to have, that we still have to use, that are going to be around for a long time because they're leading the industry, which goes back to the automation part again.
Yeah, and when you go back into, obviously everybody's doing their 2018 goals. So 2018, you're looking at your marketing budget, you're looking at your business spending, and I think that's where you start to even start eliminating things from 2017 that maybe you thought you had to have. And maybe that is kind of even like, I've seen the posts where you guys are on Lab Coat saying, I dumped whatever the big realtor or Zillow or they dumped it this year. They're not going to focus on it any longer.
We're focusing on what works, and we're eliminating what doesn't, delegating and automating. So you brought up a really important point. Some of these agents are going, Mike, some of the things you're talking about for automation are so expensive, but when we eliminate things out of our marketing budget, that's really good. I was telling a story about how I added mine up, and it was a couple $1,000s a month, and just little weird fees like $19.95 here a month and $10.95. It's one of those things that you just go, God, I'm just too busy to cancel that right now. Next thing you know, it's gone for years. But if you sit there for a couple hours and really focus on removing all that stuff, it does add up.
Yeah, you brought up the keeper one that you were like, you've had.
That pissed me off. Yeah.
It was like $9 a month.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was.
But you had to have it last year. I mean, even when I started with you, I remember I was like overloaded with all the passwords.
Yeah.
And then we got Trello that I'm obsessed with, and now I don't have to keep all those things because I have it in my Trello board.
Yeah, passwords are definitely. I'm not saying don't have Keeper the app, but it's very important. That's where you want to hide everything.
There's just silly little
But it just
charges.
pisses me off when things come through that I don't need anymore. Anyway, so things that we don't use anymore.
There's a lot you can eliminate nowadays.
Yeah, so now you can refocus that energy on your 2018 goals and be, wow, I'm surprised I can do a lot more than I thought financially. And this is about where the time people start asking, what about my marketing budget? And I always recommend 10% minimum. Try to keep it under 20 of your gross income. And that's different for everybody. If you sell 10 homes a month and make $100,000 a month, 10 grand a month easily for online leads is normal. If you sell one house a month and make 10 grand a month, then $1,000 a month. But that's where you're always going to stay. So if you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to bump it to 20% because $1,000 and $2,000 in leads is a really big difference, or any other kind of marketing you want to do. Going into 2018, I think we're in the year of more and more technology, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell a story that I've told the past couple days. People are really frustrated, including myself, about all the shiny objects. And that's starting to be a bigger and bigger word in our industry, but it's true. All these little bolt-on shiny objects, people say, you know what, there's too much to learn, too much to keep up with, and you need to go back to basics and go back to open houses and door knocking and just work and stop worrying about all these shiny objects. So I was convinced of that for a while because I was so overwhelmed and just sick and tired of trying to keep up with this stuff.
Well, and do you think that's just the Facebook stuff alone? Like, once you started figuring out the dark ads and the pixels, and I mean, we're finding out now people are spending so much more time on Facebook, like even than watching television.
Yep, 2 hours a day is the average now.
So if you're now, I mean, as an agent, I know I'm being targeted on motivation, on the books.
Gary V following you around a little bit.
I love that though. Like, I do that on purpose. I like all those things to make sure it stays in my feed. But yeah, you get the coaching, you get the motivation ones, you get the books, you get the technology, you get the Facebook ad training, you do get dark added by a lot of those things. Do you think it's kind of just Facebook alone?
Well, no, I don't. But I think we are in the industry to where it's, we
You're
are
the first
known
to get
as
it.
the people that make a lot of money, which is true, and we need and want a lot of things. So real estate agents are always suckers, and so everybody goes after us. But then we click on everything, and we create this whole algorithm that Facebook has that we're surrounded by it. But the bottom line is I took a few months off trying to keep up with the technology, and I really regretted it. I said, you know what? I don't care.
What does that look like, you taking time off from learning technology? Because I don't believe you did that.
I did. I'll hear about it and I'll talk about it. Unfortunately, some of the things I was even promoting before I knew what they were, just because everybody else was. But the reality is why don't you tell everybody what their perfect daily schedule should be as a real estate agent?
So you should be doing 1 hour of mindset. I like to do that first.
Yep.
1 hour of skill set.
Yep.
That should be, I like that second. You do talk about 2 hours of previewing property, and we talked about that in our roundtable. That I think that's the one thing most of our agents kind of don't do. And then you should be doing 2 hours of follow-up.
Yep.
And an hour.
1 hour a day of
1 hour
follow-up, 2 hours a day of prospecting. So you got it. You nailed that. So the reality for me is I'm always about skill set. I'll do scripts, I'll do dialogues, and I'm always doing things that make a difference as far as sales skills. But what I had to do is realize that now is the time where I have to take that hour and flip it to skill set of a different way, which is the technology. So I will watch a webinar on call action.
And I'm lucky in that way because I don't do the role play as much. I like the technology. I love diving into a good
And when you're running a bunch of companies and stuff, you don't have time for that. And at some point it was just too much. So I just said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go back to just working my database. But the reality is I can work my Facebook database and there's, 5,000 people in there. But what if I could do it automated with authenticity? Dang it. All right. So now I'm back to let's catch up. And boy, was it hard to catch up because there was so much going on. And so I think 2018 is going to be the year of more. Because every shiny object that comes out, people are going, oh, I have this idea. I have this idea. So in our mastermind last week in Laguna, we started masterminding about what else do we need as agents. And now we have new websites and new, bolt-on shiny objects that everybody wants to create. What if we had this? What if we had that? That would work cool. So I think with programming being a lot less expensive nowadays, technology being so simple, you can program anything, and you could do it in your underwear and your flip-flops on a MacBook Pro. So I think 2018 is going to be mind-blowing for that.
And you don't have to have the crazy training. I mean, I feel like I could put in an hour of training on, like, say, dark ads through Instagram and do it. Right. Within an hour, implement it. So, you shouldn't be able to be held back by those things.
Yeah,
right?
And it's funny. Like, we talk about dark ads, and dark ads are gone now. Facebook already took them away. So it's like, and that just happened in the last 6 months.
Right.
And so, anyways, the bottom line on that, I think we need to embrace technology again. Don't get frustrated, and just really try to focus on what's right for your business. And Tammy and I were talking about, one of my business partners, we're talking about, what did you take away from Club Wealth Business Mastermind? And we're sitting there in the mastermind. I said, you know what? A lot of weight is off my shoulders, and I'm at peace now. And I was worried about having the right technology and the right pieces all bolted together. And what I found out is there's a bunch of people in the same room, all making $1 million a year or more, using the same stuff in basically the same way, and everybody was successful doing it. So there's enough technology out there to where everything's working. And now it's just up to you to really do the research to find out which is the best bolt-on or the best technology or the best whatever the new shiny object is. Because unfortunately, we're going to have to always need those shiny objects. It's kind of like agents say, I don't want to watch any more webinars. There's too many. Well, that's where you learn about them.
And that's why it is an hour a day of training, because those webinars do. And they spark up that conversation of maybe a webinar that you loved before. I mean, we're what, in the 40th-ish episode of Real Estate Marketing Show, but I still love the top 10, the first ones that you did that go back into Sphere and Open House and Mindset and NLPs. Those are some of my favorites.
Back and listen to those myself.
Oh, I love those ones.
I think we need to re-record some of those.
With the things that you've learned and that
we
you've
learn
implemented
so much
now.
year after year. It's like that's the thing. And I'll tell you one of my favorite things, and this sounds evil. It really does. My favorite thing to do is watch agents that were in the business in the last 3 to 5 years, and they're cocky. They're making a lot of money, and they're doing all this stuff. And I love watching them go out of the business and fail because, they weren't willing to do what we're talking about right now. And specifically the ones that came to me for help, asked for it, and I spent a lot of time with them, and they didn't do what I said. And I said, this is what you're going to need to do. And it's interesting to watch how really good people, really good agents are getting out of the business faster than ever in a market that's hotter than ever. You ask yourself, what the heck? It's
they
always
just didn't want to embrace that hour of training.
Yeah,
they didn't want to embrace that hour of mindset.
They thought they were so good that they could just go through this industry.
They stopped role playing.
Yeah, and just said, I'm just an agent. I'm getting enough referrals. The market's good. And then it was too late for them to catch up.
And Facebook got too hot and fast for them.
Yeah.
And they didn't keep up with their database, and they didn't edit their friends list. And yeah, it's hard. It's not something. It's interesting to see.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you
typically throw out the lifeline. I've seen you do it thousands of times
now.
I
will, because I'm a softie.
You love, because we do know that, and that, the one thing too is, like, when we were talking about 2018 budgeting, obviously the brokerage changes. Those are huge too, and that's a huge fee that a lot of people are looking at. And then if you can switch that broker fee now to your marketing budget, and you've seen a lot of people not do that when they should have.
Yeah, and that's another thing that is to talk about 2018, some of the changes coming up. It's 5 years ago when I joined HomeSmart and bought the franchise, I knew there was a different model of the future. I saw it coming. I was working at another big branch company, and I wasn't getting the value, and I was looking around, and even with these caps and then the fees that are associated with it, it's still spending 40, 50 grand a year as a top agent. And now more than ever, just last night I was out in the parking lot talking to an agent, and she doesn't do a tremendous amount of business, but she's realizing now that with all the technology and all the stuff they're learning, they don't even need a broker to guide them. There's not many brokers in this world that can guide them. So they're like, what am I doing? Why am I spending so much money? This model of real estate has changed so much. So I think next year is going to be the year where everybody is going to join a flat fee model of real estate.
And you called it a teamerage? Is that something, what did that come from?
Well, that's the teamerage where most people are joining the flat fee companies and building a huge team. There's a lot of people out there much smarter than me that said, I don't want to build a brokerage. I want to build a teamerage, which we kind of have, right? We have 14 people on my team right now. And it's a team, a brokerage within a brokerage. And that's kind of how I think it's really going to be in 2018 too.
And 2017 was the year of the team. I mean, that was most of the training we were doing, hosting, and being a part of, was everybody saying, if you're not an assistant, or if you're doing it, what's his thing again?
I'm not you either have to build a team or be on a team.
Exactly.
And I think everybody figured that out in 2017. And that's another thing, watching agents leave the business because they couldn't have figured that out. So the teams have obviously taken over, and we talked about that in 2016, so it was neat to watch it happen. So I think 2018 is the year of people starting to say, look, I don't need a broker to where I go in and listen. I don't need that. You know, that broker is not done what we're talking about. So the agents are figuring out that all I need is my coaching company.
I mean, let's be real. The brokers aren't doing the real estate anymore.
They haven't done it
You're
in
like the
15 years.
Yeah, you're the unique one in that way.
And even if they're not, they should still keep up on things, but they're not. They're so concerned about their big, shiny brick and mortar offices, which the agents don't want anyways. If you build a team, you need a lot of office space. Like 5 years ago when I built my team, I built 1,800 square feet out for them, and it wasn't for other agents, it was for my team. So if I was to go to a big Remax or a Keller Williams or something that's a normal traditional brokerage, of course you can get a free office as a top producing agent, but I don't need a free office. I need a free wing.
And now you can see they're all cramming in 3, 4, 5 people into these small little offices, and they're talking about needing to move already.
Yeah, so brick and mortar offices, I think, are going to be a thing of the past again. The agents can rent space cheaper, build their teams, have privacy, and really flourish. And not have to pay the broker a lot of money, and I think the agents are smart that way. I really do.
Well, it's just kind of a testament too of what, who do we see being successful when we go to Club Wealth or when we're at the big conferences. I mean, it like reminds me of all of your friends. It's Jesse, it's Sam, it's Tim. I mean, it is those people that have done exactly that. They've built out their own space. They're doing a teamerage or in their own brokerage. Yeah. And they're killing it on technology.
Right. And I kind of want to do a CYA, and I just noticed my huge bald spot in that freaking monitor firm, man. You got to tell me when I'm showing my bald spot off. Jesus. But anyways, so what was I saying? Did I throw that off?
A CYA.
Oh, yeah.
Your
so
friends.
If you want to be an independent agent on your own with one, assistant and maybe one buyer's agent, that's cool. I totally get that. But you still need to take the 3 rules that I talked about a while ago: automate, delegate, and eliminate, because there are people selling 50, 60 homes a year, but they're working 60, 70 hours a week. They're having no family time. They're not automating. They're not delegating. They're still doing everything themselves, and they have the worst lives in the world.
They don't have a work-life balance at all.
It sucks because a lot of these agents, they go, oh, I'm the number 1 agent in my little podunk town in the middle of who knows what state. And then everybody looks up to them, and they're like, yeah, I'm really on top of the world. But let's think about it. No, you could sell double, triple the amount of homes with half the effort. And then they go to me, and I debate this all the time, obviously, and they go, well, I like to be really hands-on with my clients. Good. Automate everything, delegate everything, and take them to frickin' dinner. How nice would it be to have cocktails with your client and really create a relationship that's everlasting instead of hanging their lockbox up, ringing the doorbell with sweat dripping down your forehead?
It's so funny that you said that, though, because Tammy and I did spend some time last night together, and that was a conversation that we had. She was saying about how everybody wants to go to lunch, and that really is her bread and butter. That really is her business. And I said, well, right, but why don't you have time to do all those things? You really should. I feel like, are you still doing some of the things that maybe you shouldn't be doing? Like, are you focusing on maybe writing a description or putting it in the MLS or hanging a lockbox?
You got to prioritize your day, that's for sure. And I'll stick up for Tammy a little bit.
Oh no, I'm not throwing her under.
She's like,
she does
she
everything.
cares
She's Wonder Woman.
way too much about her clients.
Agreed.
I mean, I really do like our clients, but dude, she'll take a bullet for them. And I'm like, you're just way overboard.
She's represented me. I've
Right.
seen it.
But I'd really like to go have a cup of coffee with a client and really build these authentic, which we're talking about. You're 2018. You're going to have to be way more authentic than ever, and really build a relationship with these people instead of just whamming them through your assistant cyclone. And then that's where the automation, delegation, and elimination will give you the time to do that.
Yeah.
So we talk about our clients being A, B's, or C's, or 1s, 2s, and 3s. We have the 1 clients that we call our disciples, or people that will refer 3, 4, 5 people a year to us. Those are the ones we need to seek out and sit down with and actually have an authentic relationship with, because if you don't and you just only automate to them, it's not going to happen. So that's what I love about what we're talking about going into 2018, and I feel a whole new year coming. I feel a market shift. You mentioned Tim Ray from Kansas City. I was on the phone with him for 20 minutes this morning, brainstorming, and he goes, I'd love to sit here and talk all day, but I got bombarded with new assignments. So REO is picking up dramatically in a lot of areas, which is our first, big REO agents usually feel it first. California, New York, we kind of feel everything last. But our friends around the country are like, holy crap, the market has come to a screeching halt. Oh, it's seasonal. No, it's not seasonal, because it hasn't been seasonal for the last several years. So I feel a market shift. I think affordability is gone. I think the Trump hype is kind of gone. Tax reform is scaring the holy crud out of people. So I've had clients in the last week in the higher end market saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait and see what's happening. And it's really interesting to see what our year is going to be like. But I do feel it's going to be more teams, more flat fee model, 100% offices. And I feel the technology is going to be absolutely important. Which leads us to, we don't want to talk about negative things. I'm afraid to bring it up, and you scared me in the beginning of this. But the Uberization of real estate is absolutely real. And I think 2018 is the year that we have to watch it more than ever. Again, for the same reasons. And here's my favorite analogy, or whatever you call it. Picture in Silicon Valley, 3 or 4 22-year-old kids who've never bought and sold real estate before, but they're on their MacBook Pros in their flip-flops sitting around going, why is this real estate agent in front of me right now?
Because they just went through their first deal, because they came into some money, and then they went through their first house buying purchase.
Maybe most of them haven't even bought or sold a house.
Well,
it's like,
but then that's usually when it comes up, when they're like, okay, why did I just deal with that? And why did I just have to spend all that money on that? And everybody's trying to figure out how to keep their money now.
True.
And so they're working against you guys right now, right?
If you're the average buyer is under 35, somewhere in the average age around, the early 30s. If you could go on a website, find more accurate information than your realtor can give you, find it faster, find it at 2 a.m. when it's more convenient.
And you technically, what most people now, the average is they have 5 people on their phone that are agents.
Yeah.
And they maybe think that 3 of those are dinguses.
Yeah, that's a great word, dingus.
That's my curse word for today.
Yeah, I like that.
But I mean, that was something that was a big takeaway for me, because we've always talked, like, we're so proud of our brokerage and where we work. But at one of the conferences, they said, okay, keep your hand up if you work in a franchise. And they all did. Keep your hand up if some of those people in the franchise you think are jackals. Keep your
now
hand.
We have
and
jackal ending.
And then jackal.
Martha, make sure you put this in the show notes.
And they kept their hand up, and then so the cold calling script nowadays is not supposed to include maybe your franchise, because maybe they've had a bad experience with that one person, or that
that one company,
one company.
Mega company.
And so all of a sudden now you're associated with that person that they don't respect, or they don't think that highly of.
Right.
So
and we were in the mastermind the other day, and one of the guys that's not in real estate, but he's an internet marketer, said, let me ask you a question. of the people at your brokerage, would you want to buy a house from any of them? And I'm like, no.
I didn't want you to say it.
No, but let's. And then he took it even deeper. He goes, would you want to buy a house from anybody on your team?
Oh no!
And I'm like, what an interesting question, right? And so we go back to the 25-year-old in flip-flop saying, look, if I have all the inventory here in front of me, what do I need an agent for?
Right.
If I could go on a website and possibly pay somebody $500 to do my paperwork, and I can find my house, and I can put homes on the MLS for free now, and I can do all these flat fee things.
And technically, they even feel more comfortable behind their computer.
Yeah, but man, how are you going to fight these things? And here's the point I made yesterday. Let's say that a flat, what do you call it, a reduced MLS only fee company, which is hundreds of them out there. If you Google flat fee company, let's say you could sell your house for $500 on this Silicon Valley teenagers website. And you're like, all right, cool, right? So the teenagers are sitting there saying, dude, so if there's, 50,000 sales a month in California, what if we only got 1,000 of those? What if we made $500,000 a month and split that 4 ways? And then what if their, rich dad said, here, I'll throw $100,000 at that website?
Because we would, like as an
done,
investor,
right?
you would.
So back to skill set, we need to be able to tell these people why we're around, and we need to show true value. We really need to focus on our profession and take it very seriously, stand up for our profession, and let them know, look, you can do that all you want, but we're selling houses left and right before the signs go up.
Yeah.
This houses that are good deals, that are nice houses, we sell those. You never have a chance. They never hit a website. Are you kidding me? No way. That's the value. Did you give all your paycheck to your boss yesterday? No. Why? Because you worked hard for it. So here's the deal. If Mr. Redfin or whatever open listings person, if you want to have half the commission back, cool. Go ahead, go on the website, find all the crappy homes that nobody wanted. They're overpriced, obviously, because they haven't sold. Pick one. I don't have to negotiate anything. You're going to buy this, and you're going to think you know what you're doing. Sure, I'll give you half the commission back. Is that what you want? Or do you want me to find an off-market property and get you 3 to 5% under market value with no hassles, no bidding wars, or no, no multiple offers?
When you have to fight over the jacuzzi, I'm still there.
Yeah, so that's the difference in what we have to do, because there's going to be some serious Uberization of real estate, and we need to. How are we going to capitalize off that? What could we do to make that our thing? And the agents that are turning their head, they're never going to keep up, and they'll just disappear. You will legit walk into Walmart and they will hand you a shopping cart. For reals, and that's real. So I don't say that to make everybody mad. I don't want to,
No, it's definitely not you being. I don't think that's you being negative or you. It's
keeping
real.
up with
It's
technology.
Yeah,
it really is. Let me ask you a question. So everybody makes fun of me, or everybody in the last several years, about the travel agents, right? We're not effing travel agents. Stop saying that, Mike. I go, okay.
Well, you deal with travel agents. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I go, do you book most of your travel online? Yes. Like, we fly all over. We go on Southwest app, which is easier than the laptop. We book a flight. We change our flights. We book hotel rooms on Expedia and all these other websites. Bitchin', right? And I do it 90% of the time. But when there's something important coming up, my travel agent, I'm willing to pay her all day long to get me to Europe, right? I'm going to go to Bora Bora in March, and I want to stay in one of those cool huts on the thing. I'm not doing that online.
No.
I'm going to have her help me. If without the travel agent last time when I went to Europe, I probably would have flown into the wrong country at the wrong time, had 12-hour layovers. I mean, going to Europe, you can go to 10 different countries, and it's the same amount of time. It's the most crazy thing in the world. In my life, I never thought I'd land in Zurich, Switzerland. But because of her, I had the best first class, the best airline, the best times. So when we look at real estate agents, sure, if you wanted to buy houses online, you can. But when it's important, when it's your home, when you really want to know about the area and things like that, that's where I think the real estate agents are needed. So let's take it a step further. You really need a good real estate agent, but now what if, Julia or Bulia hired people for $65,000 a year that it was their job to really focus on that community and really know it and understand it, and they happen to be a really nice person, and there's people that are taking jobs like that every day. Now what? So now we have somebody just as qualified, just as licensed on a salary. So there's a lot of things that could happen. And I think we're going to really start seeing more and more of it in 2018. And so I want all the agents out there, as they're talking about automating, delegating, eliminating, to focus on that too.
Yeah, you almost need to add educating.
Yeah, it's part of your skill set every day. And people continue to argue with me every day. And they go, Mike, those people come and go with the market change. No, they don't. We've been in the hottest market ever in the last couple of years, but yet I have more and more agents coming to me. And this is a point I need to make. If you're an agent sitting out there disagreeing with what I'm saying and saying, oh, no, they're not a big deal, not a big threat. Well, I have almost 300 agents that work for me. They come to me every day. So I hear 30 or 40 calls about this a week. When last year I heard maybe 20. The year before that I heard maybe 5.
Yeah, and these are not going to be the conversations that are going to come up at a networking event.
Yeah.
When you guys are all faced on and happy, scrappy,
Yep.
and business is great. It's just not going to happen.
I get the calls where they're crying, cussing and yelling, and what do I do? And it's a really big deal. So it's just something to think about, something to pay attention to, with the changing of our technology, and we just got to watch it and know how to fight it head on.
And I even said too in our or kind of in our roundtable, I'm thankful for, obviously coming out of Thanksgiving, that was kind of everybody's so grateful, and you're thinking about what you're thankful for, and then you're also coming from a place of gratitude all the time, and in the morning you're kind of writing down things that you're happy for. I'm thankful that I work for a broker and that I have you, that you do still kind of watch those things and that you're not turning a blind eye. Like, I would be scared working for a broker that maybe says that, oh, they're just going to put their head down and they're not going to focus on those things, and they're not going to teach me about them, and they're not going to maybe freak me out about them, because I would rather be in a position where I'm in the know.
Yeah, I mean, a typical broker's running a business, and they're more worried about having to save some money on their internet. So then they hire a team leader and a broker that do all these things, but they're not in the trenches. They don't understand what you're doing. And I appreciate you saying that. And it's interesting because the people that have called me in the last several days, because we're doing a lot of speaking and talking on stages right now, they're calling me saying, whoa, that's pretty cool that you're doing that. And
Yeah.
I feel as the broker, it's my job to protect my agents. It's not my job to try to figure out how to make more money off of them, or, how am I going to get this big brick and mortar spot that nobody wants. So, man, we just went through a lot.
That was a lot.
So let's talk about a couple of things. So if you are at the end of this, and I want you to write these things down. So write it down again: automate, delegate, eliminate. When you're automating and doing some of these things, think about how to do it authentically.
Yes.
Right? You can't do these things without adding authenticity. And I love the fact that everybody's talking about that right now, because we are humans. It is a belly-to-belly business. It feels good when you talk to an agent belly-to-belly, maybe breaking bread, instead of watching a computer generate stupid things for you. I think it's still a people business, and it will be for a long time. The other thing I think is the flat fee 100% commission models is going to be stronger than ever. I think the Uberization of real estate is going to be stronger than ever. I think the shiny objects are going to be stronger than ever, and we need to really focus on those things. So that alone is enough to completely change our mindset for the next year and stay ahead of what's coming. If we look back, and it's kind of neat to look back at the beginning of 2017, and I'd be interested to see some of our classes that we were teaching.
Yeah.
Like you said, we were all about a boost. Let's boost our Facebook ad.
We
right?
spent so much time on those.
Yeah, and now it's like a thing of the past. And some of the theories on social media are still good, but now we need to throw all the automation at it. We were buying 20, 30 leads a month from Zillow. Now we're buying hundreds of leads from new companies, and the CRMs are just getting bigger and more powerful. And mass texting wasn't even a conversation we had a couple of years ago. Mass email was. Now we're chatting with our clients on cell phones. So, just to look back at the last year of how much has changed, it doesn't surprise me on why so many people got out of the business.
That too, and I mean, we were kind of talking about what you're supposed to be doing moving forward, and how you can kind of set your goals. And when you guys are talking about goals and vision boards and things, You guys are talking about them in 90-day increments now.
Yeah.
Like you have to be doing a vision board every 90 days, not the year one anymore.
Right. Well, let's spend a minute on that since you brought it up. So, goal setting, and if you don't write it down, it doesn't happen. I told a story about how long are we at, Furman? Are we like?
We're over, but
24.
we're
Okay, good. Everybody shut up. Stay on your treadmill, you fatty. So here's the deal. My business partner with my leasing company, California Leasing, John and I set a very important goal for us to increase per door revenue over 2017. We averaged $190 a door. We wanted to go to $226. Where he got that number, I don't know, but that's why he's the operations guy. But we sat down, locked ourselves in a hotel room on the beach, and we set out a plan and wrote down those goals. Everything about that happened because we wrote it down, focused on it. It wasn't on our vision board. It was on our whiteboard in our private office at the leasing company, but it happened. And that was real, and it was fun to watch, and it made a hell of a big old fat difference in my paycheck every month. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Some of the other goals on our Trello board, I forgot about. We didn't really talk about them, and there's some of the goals that were pretty important. But since we didn't really write them down.
I know, it's you and Trello. It makes me crazy.
It was just one of those things where we just didn't do it and it didn't happen. So we know for a fact if you don't write your goals down, it's not going to happen. Writing your goals down is no different than a vision board.
Agreed.
A vision board, you talking about increments of 90 days, it's seasonal, right? So I like to think about it that, and I also want to throw my phone in the... Hey, David Tull from Agentology. Sorry, buddy. But the reality is we have winter, summer, spring. That's kind of a cool 90-day cycle. What do you want to do in spring? Let's talk about it, right? Do you want a new convertible car? Springtime, spring break. Do you want to go on a really cool vacation? Do you want to max out your 401k by March? That's what I had a talk with my financial planner yesterday. Yeah. Do you want to have enough money? Do you want to have your 2018 taxes set aside by March? That's kind of my goal too. So no matter how much more money I make, I've already got the taxes saved. Those are the types of things, do you want to buy a rental property every 90 days? So when you're doing your vision board, dream board, whatever you want to call it, we went to IKEA and bought the metal. They look like shelves actually, and you use magnets. Mm-hmm. So our team put that thing together, and it's obviously Christmas, and they're doing it all Christmassy, and they're talking about what they want to do 90 days from now, and it's kind of interesting. And you could have one that goes for a year, 3 years, but I like these 90-day increments and track your goals and have somebody, your team leader or your broker, good luck, somebody holds you accountable and really say, hey, look, I'm not on track. I haven't talked to 50 people a day or 25 people a day, and I haven't saved the money for that rental property, and I'm so excited. I actually found out today I am going on a mega yacht in Bora Bora. So, yeah, that's all I can think about. But those are things that you put on your goal or your goal post or whatever you want to call it. And when they happen, you celebrate those successes. There's a lot of podcasts on this where we talk about celebrating successes in small, medium, and large ways. And then you could redo it, and if you didn't quite make one, leave the other one up there.
Well, and then you don't trash the whole year. Like, I think that was something that we've learned from having Skyline in our office, where they were saying if everyone is keeping each other accountable and you do go back and you say, I'm down this month, I need to make it up here, then you're not going, oh, well, it's already August, I'm done, like this year is screwed, can't wait for 2019. Mm-hmm. Like that, I think is going to help you in the accountability side. And two, a huge takeaway for me just over the last 30 days has been what you're doing now is affecting your 90-day business. So even though we're talking about 2018 and we're doing all the goals and everybody's writing it down because it's New Year's, I mean, technically everything that I worked on yesterday was for March. Let's be real, because as an
agent, we have 45-day escrows. So
exactly. So you're not going to get into something right now. Maybe it closes through February. Yeah. But
absolutely.
No, we're looking at March.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the only time agents talk about that is when all of a sudden September rolls around and say, we're working on Christmas and the holidays. No, we should be thinking about that all the time. And I have to say what I'm thinking, because I don't want to talk you guys out of a 3 or 5 year vision board either. Because I have a very real vision board that's up, and some of the goals are so big that you can't do in 90 days. And there's one picture on the side of my vision board from 2 or 3 years ago. and it's a very nice beach house in Florida that I want. And in 2 days, I actually get to go leave to find the town that I'm going to buy that house in. And it's like, holy crap. It's been 3 years. It was a 5-year vision board. It's actually going to happen now. So if that's not realistic to put on a 90-day board, then that will never happen either. So you kind of do need both. And I also recommend doing that with your family too. Let them know what your goals are and what your plans are. Because when they see you working so hard or striving so hard or talking a lot about something or putting a vision board in every room of your house, they have to kind of be on board so they know what the hell you're doing that for.
Well, my family, we finally actually did get around to that. It's been something that you've been training for years. And getting, I mean, what is it? That's a Gary Vee thing that he kind of talks about. Your partners have to be, sometimes they can be the ones holding you back, and that's certainly not in my case. But we're going through a house. We're going through a house renovation right now. No, it's hashtag. Go, if you're under construction, you know this.
Oh, God.
That is the best marriage counseling ever. But I think the one thing that we did too that I really am excited about, and that we're going to be able to keep every Thanksgiving, is sitting down and going through what you're thankful for, but then what are also your goals together as a family. And that was something I stole from your family.
It's kind of fun.
And it's cool because then it does get everybody on the same page. It does get you guys dialed in, focused, communicating. And I think that is something that I'm glad that you've trained that.
Oh, good. Well, now you just made me think we got to do it again.
So,
all right. If
very
you're listening
good.
at my office, we're going to do a vision board day pretty soon. So, all right, cool. I hope you guys were able to stay up with that, take some good notes, and get some good thoughts, maybe a little nugget or aha moment. Any closing thoughts? I think we
covered a lot. Good. Yeah, we went pretty deep on that one.
All right, guys. So the next 2 podcasts that you're going to be able to listen to is going to be Jesse from Call Action.
Woo!
And who's the other one? Oh, duh.
Travis
Tom from Elevated REM. And that dude does some unbelievable stuff with Facebook ads. So those are the next 2 you're looking forward to. And thanks for rating us 5 stars. Share with your agents.
Yeah.
Share with your team. Share with everybody. Share in social media groups. We so appreciate that. You have no idea. It sucks to have so much knowledge, and if somebody doesn't get to hear it, just because you shared it with a friend, you could actually save their career. So
yeah, I like that.
Till next time, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.